You're looking for a microcentrifuge that you can actually leave on the bench without second-guessing it every time you start a protocol. You don't need a machine that just shouts high speed. On the spec sheet, you want something that will spin reliably day after day, fit into a cramped lab space, and justify the dollars you're spending. That hesitation is real. A bad centrifuge can ruin precious samples, chew up bench real estate, and become a hidden cost when you're forced to replace tubes or redo experiments. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Benchmark Z207M hits the sweet spot for many small to medium labs that need a workhorse for routine 1.5 milliliters and 2.0 milliliters tube applications. The first thing I noticed after a quick glance at the unit is how compact it really is, just 11 inches wide. On a bench that already has a PCR thermocycler, a vortex, and a reagent fridge, that width means you can slide it in without rearranging everything. The footprint is a practical win, especially when you're sharing space with other teams. One of the quirks that sets this model apart is the easy scroll touchpad. Instead of hunting for a dial or fiddling with a knob, you swipe your finger to set speed and time. In practice, that translates to a smoother startup when you're juggling multiple tubes. I've used it for quick spin downs of bacterial lysates, and the touch control makes it feel almost like a kitchen appliance, intuitive enough that a new graduate can hit the right settings without flipping through a manual. The learning curve is basically non-existent, which is a hidden time saver in a busy lab. Speed is another practical factor. The Z207M can reach up to 317G, which is more than enough for most molecular biology protocols. Think DNA precipitation, protein pelleting, or plasma separation. In my own work, I found that the top speed comes in handy for clearing cell debris when preparing RNA. The key is that the speed range is wide, so you can dial it down for gentler spins, like when you're trying to keep delicate organelles intact. That flexibility means you don't have to buy a second centrifuge just to cover low-speed tasks. Rotor options are built in, supporting both 1.5 milliliters microtubes and the slightly larger 2.0 milliliters tubes. The interchangeable rotors snap in and out quickly, which is a real convenience when you're switching between a DNA prep and a small volume enzyme assay. However, the trade-off is that you're limited to those tube sizes. If your workflow frequently uses 0.5 milliliters PCR plates or larger 15 milliliters conical tubes, this unit will feel cramped. For labs that do a lot of high-throughput screening or need to spin larger volumes, the Z207M isn't the right fit. Reliability is the silent promise behind any centrifuge, and the Benchmark brand has a reputation for decent service. While I don't have a warranty sheet in front of me, the unit feels solid for its size, no wobble at top speed, and the motor runs quietly enough that it doesn't dominate the bench chatter. In real-world use, that quiet operation matters when you're running multiple devices simultaneously. You can actually hear the pipette beeps without the centrifuge drowning them out. Cost to value is where the Z207M really shines. You're paying for a compact footprint, a touchpad interface, and a respectable maximum RCF, but you're not paying for a massive rotor carousel or a built-in cooling system you'll never use. If your protocol budget is tight and you need a dependable spin for everyday prep, the price point feels justified. On the flip side, if you're budgeting for a core facility that needs to run dozens of samples per hour, you'll probably hit a ceiling quickly because the tube capacity per spin is limited to 24 microtubes. So, who should consider buying this? If you're a teaching lab looking for a low-maintenance centrifuge that students can operate safely, a clinical research group that needs to spin blood plasma in small batches, or a startup biotech that values bench space above bulk capacity, the Z207M checks the boxes. Who should skip it? Large academic core facilities, high-throughput drug screening labs, or any workflow that relies on 15 milliliters or 50 milliliters tubes for bulk precipitation. Those environments will outgrow the 24-tube limit and may need a larger, more versatile system. To sum up, the Benchmark Z207M isn't a flashy, feature-overloaded machine, but it delivers exactly what a lot of small labs need: a compact, easy-to-use, high-speed centrifuge that respects both your bench space and your budget. It avoids the hidden costs of a confusing interface and a bulky footprint, while still offering the speed and rotor flexibility to handle everyday molecular biology work. If those are the priorities you're weighing, give it a look. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon.